Okay, once you received your package, you'll notice there's a bunch of knickknacks inside here, such as props, which are cool to use. You'll also have your ring light in here. You'll have the cover for it. You'll have your LED lights in here. So what we're gonna do first is start unpacking this. Okay, so we got some pliers. We're gonna just cut this off. All right, we're gonna cut this off. There we go. And then we have a couple more over here. This guy looks like it just has one on itself. So we'll just leave that one on for now. We'll just shorten this. And this is to put on top of your platform so that way it doesn't get dirty. So let's finish taking these guys out. This right here is the arm that's going to go inside of the 360. So you'll see that this one is actually where your power adapter's going to be to power your GoPro and ring light. So you'll see once we connect this to the photo booth, this will literally lie straight in the center. These little holes, you'll see that there's holes here, will match these. We're gonna put the screw there. And depending on the angle that you want, you can go this way, which typically when I shoot, it's probably like right around there. That way I can at least get like a full body, head to toe. So I'll do like right around there and tighten the screws here as well as here as well, okay? So we'll jump into that in a little bit. Next, this is the extra arm that goes on top of this, so that way you can go higher in height. Okay, so let's open this up. All right, now that you've opened these up, you'll see that the top of this will have a little screw, which is where your 360 ball head will sit, and this will actually go inside of this pole here. So what we're gonna do is just grab it and put it in there. If it's hard to push in, it's okay. It's just because of the powder coating that's on here. So what we're gonna do is kind of push it in. That way it's like that. And then when you're ready to pick it up, you just kind of match up the holes to screw it in. So depending on how high or short you want it, that's how you're gonna put it. And then this one will actually be put in here, just like that, okay? So this is how it's gonna sit, just like that into your 360, okay? So we'll start setting this up now so we can actually see it all together. All right, next what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab this guy. You'll notice there's some screws here, so which is kind of cool because here, if people's feet are hanging out, it's not gonna disrupt this. So you'll see that there's two set of screws in this bag. One set of screws has like a little really thin screw, and then you'll see that there's a thicker screw. The thicker ones are for the bottom, okay? So that means that right here, you're gonna line it up with the hole and then tighten these in there. So you can do 4 at the bottom. I like to just do 2, just so it's faster. I mean, it's not really gonna go anywhere with 4 or 2, it's the same thing. So I just like to leave it at that. So I'll just try to match that up. Next, you're going to grab this pole here, and then 4 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? So same thing, you're gonna get 4 of the bigger screws, and you're gonna push them in there, okay? So what we're gonna do first is grab that, make sure it's lined up, find the angle that you'd like. So let's say if you wanna do, I don't know, this angle. That's 2. Third one, do the other side, line it up, and then the 4th one, match it up on the other side. So this one for sure you're gonna need the 4, okay? The next thing that we're gonna do is this pole here. You see, remember we put it together already for you. So once you decide on the length that you want, next we're gonna put this inside of here, okay? And we're gonna use the thinner screws, which are these little skinny ones. And just before I put it in, I wanna make sure that it fits. Yep, perfect. Okay, so next we're gonna put that pole in here. So we're gonna just slide that in, and then depending on the angle that you'd like, or the length that you'd like, what you're gonna do is just match those screws up. So let's say this is what I want. And again, we are using the thin ones. So we're gonna just tighten that in. Tighten another one in there. And usually on here, I'll only use the 2. The other one, I really don't put it. Just, I mean, it's not gonna go anywhere with this. But if you want extra support, you can add 2 more of these at the bottom. Totally up to you. All right, the next you're gonna determine whether or not you want your this pole to go higher or lower, okay? So depending on the height that you want, so let's say this is the highest, this is literally the last hole it can be in, okay? So this is about 5 feet high. What I'll do is probably go like right here, because I still have my ring light to put on there. And I could always adjust the angle with the GoPro or your iPhone. So this one, you could put all 4, or if you want to do it a little faster, you could just use the 2. And then the other extra screws, you could just leave them inside the bag of the 360 in case you lose these. So that's how you successfully set up the arm of the 360. And the last screw that you'll see, this one, this screw actually goes all the way at the bottom of the 360, and I'll get a little close up for you. So this is the extra long screw that, just for safety, you could put this here so that way that the arm doesn't move or anything. So I'm trying to screw this in there. Might be doing it backwards because I'm using, yep. So that will just kind of prohibit the arm from moving any further back. But I mean, in reality, it really isn't going to go anywhere just because you have the 4 locked in there. So I would just leave this one here. That way, depending on how you set up, this will just stay there as like a stationary screw for safety. So that's how you successfully set up your 360 arm. Inside of your 360, you're gonna have one of these boxes, okay? So inside this box, you're gonna have one of these, and this will just live on here. I would recommend just leaving it here, so that way you don't ever have to remove it. So just like that. You can unloosen this, and you could still position this in the right direction. So I like to leave it like that, and I'll stand it up straight, lock it into place. And then next, what I'm gonna do is unravel this ring light so I can show you how to set up the ring light. Once you got that on there right, again, you can unloosen this, that way you can get it in the right direction. Tighten this up together, and you're gonna make sure you leave this here connected so that way you can change your, show you right there. So you can connect your iPhone adapter, okay? So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna open up your iPhone adapter. So inside you're gonna have two different iPhone adapters available for you. One looks like this. So you'll see that you could just open this and put that here. Screw that right on here. And you can just attach your phone to it. Just like that. Next, we're gonna go over your LEDs. So how to put those on, it's pretty easy. This is gonna be the remote for your colors. And then what we're gonna do is remove this tape. And I like to start this from where your motor is. So if your motor connection is here, you're gonna wanna start in this area so that way this can match up, because when we're connecting this to our battery using this, I'll just show you really quickly, you're gonna need to use this cable. And this cable will split your power for your 360 and your LEDs. So this will literally just live here, and this will go directly into the motor, into your battery or your power adapter. So first thing I'm gonna do is remove this. Just like that. So we're gonna go over the batteries. For your remote, you're gonna need a 23A battery for this one. And it's really easy to put inside. Just push and slide so that this comes down. That's ready. For your LED remote, you're going to put a 2025 battery inside. Let's see. Just like that. Your cable and your battery for your 360 booth. So the cable that's attached to your LEDs and your motor, what you're gonna do first is you're gonna connect your cable that came with your battery into here, and then you're gonna connect to the 12 volt in here, just like that, and hit on. Once you hit on, what I like to do is just kind of tuck these cables at the bottom so that they're not all exposed or anything. So you can do something like that. This extra cable is just extra, so you can put it aside with your stuff. And now you're ready to turn your 360 on and off. The final step, if you'd like to include these bottom stoppers to the bottom of the 360, you're able to. All you need to do is just pick up the quarters, and on each of these legs, you could just include that on there just for support. If you need to get leveled, it's nice to have in case the ground isn't leveled correctly. You're able to kind of just fluctuate the balance on this. And there you have it. That is one complete 360 setup right there. So if you want to change the light, you can hit auto. If you want certain colors, you hit the remote and change the color. If you want to turn on your 360, it's just a matter of hitting on, let it do its thing. You can also hit reverse and it will reverse. You could also increase the speed as well. So I'm just going to step back for this just in case I get whacked. We can go up one more speed if you want it like turbo. And you can go back down with it. And then once you're done, you could just hit power off and that'll stop your 360.